Hello, hello. Halloween is approaching, and as usual, I am getting ready for all of my trick-or-treaters, and I typically do something with the caramel apple pops, and I had an idea when I saw one of the new releases that came out. It is the oh my gosh, where is it? It's the Halloween one with the potions and spells. And it had the witch's cauldron. And it had this coming out of, spilling over. And I thought about caramel apples. Now, normally when you dip caramel apples, you put the stick in, you dip them, and the caramel is up here. But this is just a novelty treat item. So I used the die cut of the goop coming over and punched out the apples. So this is what I used. I have a retired stamp set called Harvest Hellos. I used this apple here, and it looks like this. And then I used, of course, the die cut for the little goop. I have some green that I already punched out. You can use granny apple, but I didn't have any, so I used lemon lolly, and it works just as good. And then I took real red for the red apples. I figured I would make both. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I did to assemble it. And then you need some light brown and dark brown cardstock. Find a shade that is good for your caramel. You can even do like a dark chocolate. And if you have one that's embossed, that's maybe shimmery, that would look really nice with the glaze. I did use Wink of Stella on it. And this is crumb cake. And my ink I'm using is Early Espresso. If you have black, you can use black. I just wanted a more bolder definition of color on there. I didn't want to use black, so I chose Early Espresso. And then I decided to use a little background. It's a very old stamp here, a wooden stamp, and it's got like this crackle look. So I just decided to throw that in for fun. And as you can see, I covered it, and it's got that little crackle. Okay, so let's get started. You'll use adhesives of your choice. Oh, and you'll need a ribbon. I already tied it because tying while taping is quite a task. Never wants to go right. Your adhesives, you can use tape. You can use your liquid, if I could find it. Oh, here it is, your liquid glue, or use your tear and tape. It's a matter of preference, or whatever you have on hand. So let's get started. The cardstock for the little box is going to measure 2.5 by 5.5. And then you're going to score it 4 times. And I'm going to do that right now for you. So you're going to score it on the long side, the 5.5 side. You're going to score it at 1/2 inch. Make sure my score is being used and not my trimmer. So you have a 1/2 inch. Then you're going to move it over to the 2.5 inch. And then it's going to slide over to 3. This is going to be your center, where the lollipop is going to stand up from. And then you're going to move it over to the 5, and that's going to be your other flap that folds over where the stick pops through. So there you go. I'm going to stamp this real quick. It doesn't matter if you do it before or after. And let's see. Trying to think of the easiest way. Sometimes you can lay the paper on it and just rub it. Sometimes you can stamp it because this is slightly smaller. It's kind of big. We'll figure it out. I've done it before off camera, so. Okay. So again, Early Espresso, but you can use anything or you cannot use anything. I've just chosen to give it some texture look. You can even emboss this through and give it like a woven basket look. maybe some, if you have like Halloween backgrounds, you know, that would be kind of cute. Okay, so we're just going to eyeball it and stamp. We're only going to stamp one side of it. Yeah, see, this didn't cover all the way, which is fine. So then what I do in that case is I just rub it right there on the end. And there we go. Okay, so I'm going to clean that later, but I want to get it out of the way. Okay, so now we're going to fold it on our little scoring marks. And it's going to look like that. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of adhesive here. You can use tear and tape. I'm just going to use my little runner. And oh, maybe I'm not. I think I'm empty. No, I can't be empty. Oh, gosh. Okay, tear and tape it is. So I'm just going to use a little bit down the center of those two score lines. Doesn't even have to be that big. It's only there to hold your lollipop. Now before we shut this, you want to cut, you want to punch and then cut in the center, and you're just going to make a little hole, and then I'm going to go this way because I don't want to shut it. And then I'm just going to copy where that hole is. These punches won't go through 2 sheets of cardstock, so that's why I'm doing it double. Okay, then you're going to take your paper snips and you're just going to cut a little tiny slit like that. Okay, kind of looks like a keyhole. And we'll do the same here. And that is for your lollipop stick. Okay, now the lollipop. Take the end of it. You probably have to fold it. And I'm just going to slide it on while it's folded onto the center where that adhesive is. And then I'm going to bring up one side and the other. And this is where you're going to tuck the stick into the little groove. And sometimes these wrappers get in the way, but they're going to be covered up by that bow, so that's all right. Okay, so that looks like, that doesn't look good. Let's try and do it this way. It's weird, sometimes one fits over the other. Okay, so again with the tear and tape, we're going to do 2 pieces, one on each side of where we did the punch. And then you're going to peel that off. Then you're going to put it together. And then we're going to do the apple. So whether you have red or green at this point, I am going to make both for my stock. And I'm choosing the red right now. You want it to be 2 inches wide. It doesn't matter the length. If you have an 8.5 sheet of paper or 11-inch sheet of paper, just make sure it is 2 inches on one edge, okay? Like this. And I'm going to show you why. So this is ready now to decorate. So now the punch has pieces that will cover your cardstock. That's for the leaf, that's for the stem, which is why I only want 2 inches, because if I'm cutting more, it's going to punch out blank, you know, little die cuts. And we don't want those, so I don't want to waste the paper. So I've already punched my apple. You can use, I've used this one from Harvest Hellos, And if you have another apple, then by all means go ahead and use it. If you can draw it freehand, cut it out, that'll work too. So I'm just going to punch this out. I have a bunch here, but I'm just showing you. Now, unfortunately, this punch and stamp set are retired, but sometimes you can find them on different groups. And I think I found one of these off the group. I think it was the actual stamp set a couple years ago. Okay, so now we are ready. So back to that currant set that's out. This is what the little ooze looks like, the little die cut. Okay, so you run that through your machine. You can use any brown that you want for your caramel or chocolate. And then this is what comes about. Now again, when you normally dip caramel, I can't find my little sample now. When you normally dip little caramels, the caramel is on the bottom. So in that case, you can stamp out another brown apple and then cut and make it look more realistic. And it's so weird because I just had one cut on the side and now it's gone. There we go. Okay, so here's a green apple. Okay, so what I did was I punched out the apple and then I just fussy cut little squigglies. You can go as high as you want, and then you can go like that. Okay, but just for novelty purposes, I am using this goop, and it's going to go along the top of the apple like that. Okay, so now we're going to use some liquid glue and make sure it's coming out. Okay, so we're just going to, you can control your liquid glue. You don't want to squeeze too hard, otherwise you'll get a big old blob. We're just going to go across the edge real fine and then go along the little goopy drips over here, and then we're going to flip it back over, and then we're going to adhere it to the apple. Okay, so I do want it flat top, and we're just going to go like that. Now you're going to take some dimensionals. I have some left over here, and I'm just going to use the edging of them. I don't use a whole lot of them, probably 2, but because I'm getting toward the end of it, I'm just going to put 1 on each side and trim it so they fit. Okay. And then you're going to take the apple and you're going to position it right just a little bit above the box, because you want it to look like the stick is going into the apple. Okay, then you take your bow, and again, I've already pre-tied it, and then that's just going to go right there, and you have your little caramel apple. Okay, so now before I do this, I'm going to take my Wink of Stella. You can run this through your embosser and make it shiny when you can put ink on it. But I am choosing, if I could get this cap off the right way. Okay, so I'm just going to brush my Wink of Stella and give it a little bit of glitter look. This dries rather quickly, and I'm really not going to paint it perfectly because I just want the shimmer a little bit here and there. So I'm not going to paint like all the way to the edges, is what I mean by perfect. Okay, so that will dry. And if you can see this one, it does have some shimmer to it. And then you can add a little tag on there that says maybe a trick or treat, Halloween treat for you. You can tie it, hang it, and give it to all your little ghouls and goblins. Okay, so I'm going to finish these up today. I hope you enjoyed this little short, I tried to make it short. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye.